everybody, Tom Nappy here. On today's special edition of HCAM Sports Talk, we take a look at some Boston Marathon segments from the past couple of years, as coming up on Monday, April 15th, it will be the 100th Boston Marathon start in Hopkinton. So sit back, relax, and enjoy some Boston Marathon highlights. But before we get into the Boston Marathon festivities, here's a look at the latest Hopkinton Hiller happenings. On Monday, April 1st, Hopkinton Hillers girls lacrosse hosted their home opener versus Holliston. Hopkinton looked to get into the win column after starting off the season with a road loss versus Norwood. It was a 6-6 game heading into the fourth quarter. Bella Tomeno and myself were on the call.
Actually fall, so Hopkinton's going to have to be able to defend that.
Bouvier closing in, takes it, makes it.
And essentially exactly what Holliston did on the other end, but this time it ends up resulting in a goal. Rachel Bouvier does her own little impression of the last possession of Holliston, weaving inside and gets it past gets it past Langdon to maybe be the dagger with the clock ticking to almost under 4 minutes. 2 goals in 4 minutes.
Free shot here, and Bouvier puts it in.
And that's what Holliston's going to be chasing now, down 8-6 with 4 minutes to go. I mean, it has to happen. You got to get as many shots as possible now down the stretch, but just can't fall.
Oh, look at that. There you go.
And that one does fall, right?
Anderson Hastings makes it 8-7 with it. Over to Bouvier. Bouvier has it knocked out. It's going to stay with the Hillers.
You know, if you're Hopkinton, you want it in the stick of Bouvier, and she's been huge for them today.
Over to Mosier. 5 seconds left. Mosier going to take it around. She has a lot of speed. Drops it, but that'll do it. Hillers hang on. They get the victory 8-7 and improve to 1-1 on the season.
Hillers get the late goal and take the 8-7 win. The following Wednesday, the Hillers fell short on the road in Bishop Feehan and currently stand at 1-2 heading into week 2 of the spring season. On Tuesday, April 2nd, Hiller baseball and softball were at home. Baseball lost to Norwood 2-0. Softball took the win 8-3. Unfortunately, HCAM was not at the game due to weather. Following a bad weather-riddled first week of the season, Hiller baseball is 0-1. Hiller softball stands at 1-0. We recently caught up with head coach Shannon Allberry and talked about the softball season so far. Hello, everybody. Tom Nappy here, and we are joined by head coach of Hopkinton Hillers varsity softball, Shannon Allberry. Shannon, how are you?
I'm all right, thanks. How are you?
Excellent.
All right.
Well, spring season has started. A bit of a slow start due to the crazy weather we've had, the sudden change back to winter. But it looks like finally we're going to get some spring weather and we can really get things going. But how's everything going so far, and how's the team looking?
So far, we're making the best of the weather that we have, and team's looking good. It's the first time in 3 years, I think, that we've actually had a returning upper class squad. So a number of girls that have been on the team for a while now. So we should be competitive this season.
Absolutely. And you got some great returning talent, such as Holly Paharik, who recently just had a nice little article in the Metro West Daily News as she made the, top 30 players to watch, I believe.
Yes. Yeah, that's the one.
And she put up incredible numbers last year, and I'm sure we'll do the same this year. Tell us about your captains, Caroline Kane, Holly Paharik. I mean, it must be great to
Yeah.
have that experienced leadership.
Yeah, so we have three captains. So Caroline Kane was also one of the basketball leaders this year too. So Caroline she's a calming presence for us. She leads by example. She always works hard to get better, makes every rep count, and so she's an extraordinary leader for our younger players that we have, and everybody looks up to her, including myself. Um, Holly is just an all around great athlete. I've said many times that if my own kids grow up, if my own daughters grow up to be like Holly, then I've done something right. So if they could be half of the kid that Holly is in terms of her work ethic, her commitment, her attitude, that's just she's a phenomenal human being and a phenomenal athlete. And our third captain this year is Ashley Callery, who also leads by example. She's someone that's really trustworthy and responsible and looks out for everybody else on the team. And all three of them working together, they bring something really special to our field and to our team.
And there's a lot of new faces I see on the roster this season. Could you fill us in on any of the newcomers to the team?
Sure. So we were lucky to snipe from the baseball program, Caroline Osman, who's making the transition to softball this year. So she'll be a first baseman and catcher for us. She's working on her baseball swing a little bit. It's a little different. So she'll be new with us this year. She should see a lot of field time. We've also got a ninth grade pitcher, Addie Walls. So she throws pretty hard, so we're working on her with control and confidence, and so she should be able to see quite a few innings this year too. So those are like our two big names that we've added for the program this year that we think they'll be really good additions for us.
That's terrific. And you had one game so far against Norwood, a nice win. Can you talk about how that game went?
Yeah, so really really even start for us. I think it was 0-0 after the first inning, and it was a 1-1 game for a while, and then we were able to break it open with our offense. We just kind of figured out their pitcher and was able to wait back and drive in some long runs. For that game, Charlotte Holden played a really big role for us there, and she went 3 for 4 with a triple. So she got a number of RBIs in that game too. So our offense was really able to get some runs in, and so I was really proud of them for that.
That's excellent. It looks like you had some good pitching that day too against that tough Norwood lineup.
Yeah, Norwood, they're always good competitors. So, yeah,
absolutely. Speaking of good competitors, you got some good competitors coming up this week. You got Ashland, Westwood, and Framingham. Can you talk about any of the opponents that you got coming up this week?
Well, today's going to be weird with the eclipse, so that's going to be something. So, but we always love playing against Ashland. They always have really great attitudes, and I think they've got a really young squad this year. So we'll look forward to playing against them. Tomorrow should be tough. We're going up against one of the league's best pitchers tomorrow in Bridget Mulkeen. So hopefully we'll be able to jump on early and score some runs and play the defense that we've been practicing. So that should be pretty good. And Framingham, they've got a new head coach this year, so they're under different leadership, but they didn't graduate much. They graduated some good talent, but they have a lot of talent coming back. So I think some of their pitching too. So that should be a really competitive game too there on Friday.
Absolutely. Should be a fun season to follow for sure. Very excited to get out there, cover some Hillers softball. It's looking like a great team this season. And I have to ask, who do you got in the big game, Purdue or UConn?
I'm going UConn. I'm sticking local here.
All right, Coach. I'm UConn all the way as
That's
well.
Right.
So
that's right.
Hopefully the local team could take it home once again.
Yeah.
But all right, Coach.
Well, we're looking about the women.
Yes. Who are you going for in that game?
That game I was going for UConn against Iowa, but once Iowa took it, I knew South Carolina would win it all the way.
Yeah, I was going for UConn, and then once they lost, I was leaning towards Iowa. Caitlin Clark's story is just unbelievable. What a tremendous athlete.
Yes.
But Coach, we're looking forward to the season. Looking forward to seeing you at the games, and we'll catch up another time during the season, and we'll talk to you again soon. All right. Thanks so much, Tom. Also in week 1, Hiller boys lacrosse won a close game in Holliston by a final of 10-5. The Hiller boys followed up with a 7-6 road win versus Ashland and stand at 2-0 heading into week 2 of the spring season. Boys outdoor track and field picked up a win on Friday, April 5th. They defeated Medfield 86-50. The girls' outdoor track and field team also picked up a win over Medfield, 96-39. Josie Hopkins, Lauren Canty, and Emma Prisco won multiple events as Hiller boys and girls track and field teams both start the season in the win column.
In 1924, the Boston Marathon course was lengthened to 26 miles, 385 yards to conform to what had become the accepted distance for a marathon, and the starting line was moved west to Hopkinton.
The 26.2 Foundation and the Hopkinton Center for the Arts are excited to celebrate this momentous year in Hopkinton, along with several other community organizations including the Marathon Committee, Hopkinton Parks and Rec, the Hopkinton Library, and the Hopkinton Historical Society. Thank you for celebrating Hopkinton's 100th start of the Boston Marathon, presented by Bank of America. We love our small town that once a year shines in a global spotlight.
Got nothing against the big town. Still hayseed enough to sail a cruise in the big town. But my bed is in a small town. Oh, that's good enough for me. Well, I was born in a small town, and I can breathe in a small town. Gonna die in a small town. Well, that's probably where they'll bury me. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm asked all the time, what does Hopkinton really think about the Boston Marathon, and isn't it a disturbance, and doesn't it disrupt things? Let me give you an example of what I saw earlier today. Faith Community Church is about a mile down the street from the starting line. There were 40, 50 volunteers in the room stuffing 30,000 runner packets. That story never gets told very far and wide, but one of the intriguing parts of the package are safety pins. I mean, this goes back a long way. I thought by now they'd find a new way to put bibs on people's singlets. These are 4 pins put together by the seniors in Hopkinton at the senior center. So I don't want to hear anybody ever again talk to me about how deep the roots are between Hopkinton and the Boston Athletic Association.
I'm honored to be here. I'm honored that Dell is a part of this community, has been a part of this community, and continues to be a part of this community. So, look, thank you, Tim, for having me here. Thank you for, Hopkinton being the perfect distance to be able to run a marathon, right? Hey, look, sometimes you get lucky, right? But honestly, it's a pleasure to work where I work. It's a pleasure to be part of this town, be part of this community, and, working with the Chamber of Commerce and all the things that we do together. And, look, I do a lot, as Tim said. My day job is I run global technical support, but my side hustle is community.
Ashland and Hopkinton together, strong partnership. We share the marathon. You have it now. Maybe the next 100 years we'll get it back. I don't know, but but certainly appreciate that and looking forward to working with you. I do have something for you. Hold on. Which? Oh, here it is. Yes. So Ashland is known as the home of the electric clock. So this is, and of course, timing is very important to the marathon. So pleased to give this to you, and congratulations.
My name is Paul DeBonner. I've been a resident here since 1978, and a member, as Tim said, of the first marathon committee. As Tim mentioned, after the race in '78, the Commonwealth believed the town needed to do some real improvements to make the marathon happen here in Hopkinton. So our committee was formed in '79 and included a total of 17 members, many who have since passed, but names like Chief Bowker, John Palmer, Harold Rathburn, Arthur Stewart, Dr. Bobeck, Tim Kilduff, who was our chair, Bill Thomas, Cookie Cumlin, Rosemary Lynch, and the BAA liaison, Tom Brown.
On behalf of the Alpha Omega Council and all the Greek Americans, we thank Hopkinton for being there for all of our runners, for propelling them to their victory. And we'd like to present a framed photograph of the spirit of the marathon to Muriel and to the people of Hopkinton.
This is from 2021. I run all the time around, I live in Hopkinton, as everyone knows, and the town's been under construction for many years, and during that time they were ripping up the start line, and actually there was a big shovel and crane that was way down the street. So I was running by and I just said to this guy, can I have a piece of that, because that's never going to happen again.
So marathon represents exactly the effort that all of us have to make in order to surpass our own limits. And believe me, there is nothing more Greek than trying to become better than what you actually are.
Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Massachusetts General Court hereby congratulates the residents of the town of Hopkinton on the 100th anniversary of the Boston Marathon start line in the town of Hopkinton, and be it further resolved that a copy of these resolutions be transmitted forthwith by the clerk of the Senate to the town clerk of Hopkinton, and it's signed by me, Karen Spilka, as Hopkinton Senator and as Senate President, and signed by Representative James Arena DeRosa for you. Come over.
And the staff, led by Jack Fleming, and the staff here, I want every member of the staff from the BA to stand up. It's tough enough to do the job, but when you get so I want to let you all know that we hear you, we support you, thank you for everything you do, and sometimes it may seem like it's not going to end. The waves just keep coming and coming. But I want you to stay strong, because you got a lot of supporters, as you can see here tonight. Keep doing the job that you're doing and keep doing it well. You get and represent the start-to-finish line. That's what will be painted on the start line. And
thank you, Jack.
So,
Jack, thank you.
Thanks, Jack, for doing that. Let me get over here, Jack.
This has been in a box, and I'm not kidding, since about 1984, and I think it needs to be in your case.
Festivities to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the Boston Marathon start line in Hopkinton kicked off at a community breakfast.
So the reason we're here is to thank Alexandra of Denmark, who was at one point the Queen of England. And you're saying, well, what the heck does she have to do with this? Well, in the it was at the 1981, I think it was, Olympics held in London. she decided that she thought it would be a good idea for the race, the marathon organizers to start the marathon in front of the palace. Up until that point, the marathon had been run over sometimes 24 miles, 25, that sort of thing. But it's because of her insistence, because she wanted the young people who lived in the palace to see the start of the marathon. It's because of her insistence that the length of the race was changed and then became formalized. And in 1924, the BAA moved the start of the race to comply with that distance change from Ashland, and our dear friends in Ashland, who we remember last year actually, moved the race from Ashland to Hopkinton. And I believe the Brown family had some say. They could have gone in a very different direction, but came to Hopkinton.
Since 1924, when the 26.2 marathon distance became official, the event start has been nestled around Hopkinton Common on one of the most beautiful settings for a global event to start in. For a century, Hopkinton and the BAA have been both proud to say, it all starts here. The community of Hopkinton and the 26.2 Foundation has welcomed the world each and every year on Patriots Day, opening their businesses and homes to participants from near and very, very far. When you look around Hopkinton, you can see the sense of pride. The statues of Team Hoyt, the blue and gold colors, and the unicorns that spring up throughout the town, you can't help but to feel the magic that is the marathon. Another chapter in Hopkinton to Boston race will be written this year, building on the preceding 99 years of road racing history. We are thankful for the collaboration that has occurred between the BAA and all of our partners in this room within the community to make sure that this race in Hopkinton's history is, of course, one to remember. To give the 100th anniversary some context, more than 800,000 athletes have finished the Boston Marathon over the last century. Each and every one of them started their journey right here, and surrounded by smiling and supportive community members. Come rain or shine, but mostly rain, Hopkinton has started the world's oldest annual marathon in style. So far this year, 35 athletes from Hopkinton are entered and ready to toe the starting line in April. In addition to more than 75 volunteers from Hopkinton have already applied to support them on their journey. These numbers are sure to grow as the community steps in to lend a hand, as they always do, to make sure that the first 1.9 miles of the route in Hopkinton will be extra special for the 100th. On behalf of my colleagues at the BAA and thousands of volunteers and participants, we thank the 26.2 Foundation and the people of Hopkinton for helping make the first 1.9 miles of the entire Boston Marathon course what it is today, one of the most iconic athletic events in the world. Thank you so much for having us here, and we appreciate everything that you do, and you are priority number one in my book.
The new 100th anniversary logo was also revealed.
But the idea is to try to capture the 100th, try to capture the fact that the race is starting here for so long, tried to capture, without fringing on anyone's legal rights, property, and that sort of thing, a logo that captures the Hopkinton to Boston spirit, the fact that that this is a pretty unique stretch of road. So we've now created this logo, which we will be sharing with all of you. Thank you. She's suffered with this.
Can you change this?
Activity organizers showed off some upcoming marathon-related activities the community will be able to experience.
And our final initiative, we actually rolled out last year as just to sort of feel it out, and we're really going to be fleshing out this year. It's a start line experience. And again, for all of those people who are visiting Hopkinton, this is an opportunity for them to see all of the amazing artwork that's around the common. We now have the Hoyt sculpture. They'll be installing this year the Bobby Gibbs sculpture down by the common, George Brown, and it will be a self-guided art tour. It will begin at the HCA with a video about the 100 years and the 100 starts from Hopkinton. And there'll be memorabilia. Hopefully Spencer the dog will come back. I don't know if you were able to see him last year. And then people can take on their phones, there'll be QR codes, and they can learn about the history of the sculpture, the artists of the sculpture. So a wonderful experience to learn about all these wonderful initiatives, many of which that were supported by the 26.2 Foundation. And then they'll be able to go to Startline Brewery for a little lunch. So a nice day, we're hoping, for everyone.
You can view the full presentation airing on HCAM or at our YouTube page, youtube.com/HCAMTV. Hopkinton Middle School recently hosted their annual 5K. Nearly 200 students participated in taking on the course. Here's a look.
That's a false start. Do they have a gun? Yeah, they have a gun. Oh, I don't like that. It's not that loud.
Peter Thomas of HopNews.com worked with us and talked with the winners.
Peter Thomas standing here with the winner today, Lucas Arnold of the boys set, I should say. Lucas, what was your strategy coming into this race today?
To just get out in front, make a move, I guess.
You know, you had the finish line in sight, and I saw you. There was a guy hot on your heels, man. You were making a press at the end. Could you feel him there coming on?
Yeah, I did. I started picking up the pace a lot.
All right, tell me how come you got involved in this program?
Because I'm on the cross country team, and I just love running.
Awesome. You gonna run for the high school when you get up there?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we can't wait to see you. Great job today. Congratulations on being #1. Way to go. All right, I'm here with the #1 female finisher, Annabelle Liu. Annabelle, what was your strategy coming into this race today?
Just like maintain my pace, like don't lose motivation.
You did a great job. You were finishing with a whole pack of girls. Were you aware that they were around you? Were they pushing you to get to the end sooner?
I didn't know. I only knew like my friend was behind me.
Nice. And how long have you been running?
I don't know.
Have you done cross country before? No. This program? Well, you're a pretty good runner. Are you planning to do it at high school when you get up there?
Probably not.
All right. And do you play any other sports?
I do dance.
You do dance as well. All right, right on. Well, you had a great race today. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm standing here with Tim Kilduff, the race organizer today, and the CEO of the 26.2 Foundation. Tim, talk about this race, what the history of it is, and what, this is an incredible event we're looking at.
You know, it actually is incredible because there are 200 kids that had to select this as an elective to train, and not just train, but understand what goes into preparing for a 5K race. It's phenomenal. I don't know of many places really in the Commonwealth, maybe in the country, that does a program quite like this.
And how long have you been conducting this program? How long has this been going on?
This thing has been going on for 4 or 5 years. At this point, gets bigger. 200 kids today. That's phenomenal.
It really is. Talk to me about how, the 26.2 Foundation supports initiatives like this as you look to build the International Marathon Center in Hopkinton.
Well, we believe that the basis, the underpinnings, the foundation of this International Marathon Center lies with young people in education programs. That's really the sort of the thing that pulls the whole thing together. That's the glue. It's education. It's passing on the legacy of running, not just of Hopkinton, but the legacy that marathoning in general has brought to the world.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on another incredible event. It's so great to see all these kids out here today. So great that the 26.2 Foundation is in town putting this kind of stuff together for our kids. It's amazing. Just hearty congratulations.
Thank you very much. We're glad that we're happy.
I've come to understand that there's more to the marathon than running 26.2 miles. And if one just takes a moment, as you have, and think back to ancient Greece, that's really, in the Battle of Marathon, is really essentially the spiritual beginning of the marathon run. And you studied that. So the work that you're doing really, it allows people to reflect a little bit. We have a friend of ours, a professor from BU, Dr. Sammons, who believes that every person who runs a marathon makes a personal statement about freedom. So it may not have settled in totally yet with all of you, but this little experience and this little essay contest will serve you well to think about how you can translate this into civics education. And I don't know how much time you watch in the news at night, but the need for people who understand civics and how people should interact with each other in a courteous way is something that's really topical now. So from the Foundation's point of view, we really appreciate your work, and we're quite frankly privileged to be associated with the Alpha Omega Council and the work that they do.
Rakshana Raja. Okay, our next award winner is John Kao. Our last 4th grade winner from Ashland is Hannah Cox. Okay, so we'll move to the 7th grade winners from Hopkinton. Our first winner from Hopkinton is Alika Purma. Our next winner from Hopkinton is Ishana Kurana. May you come first? I'm sorry. Sony Siripundra. Sony's favorite subject in school is geography. Sorry about that. I misread before. And our last winner from the town of Hopkinton in 7th grade is Tav Chand. Tav? When he grows up, he would like to be some sort of engineer. Congratulations, Tav. Okay, great. So the 7th graders wrote about the relevance of the Battle of Marathon and why would an Athenian have stopped and fought rather than given up the city. Our 8th grade essay prompt is a little different. It's in the book. And it's drawing the connection. Please draw a connection or express your thoughts on the connection between the ancient Greek democracy and the democracy that we practice in the United States of America. This was a 700-word essay, and the judges, actually with all essays, had a very difficult time. We had judges who are educators from the Examined Life program. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Examined Life program, but it's a wonderful program that we work with closely that trains middle and high school teachers as to how to incorporate the classics into their schoolwork. Exam and Life scholars were our judges, and they were all very enthusiastic and happy to judge, but they had a very hard time picking winners. They really did. And several of them said, Nick, I had no idea that it would be this difficult. Really, only 4 per school? And I said, yes, only 4 per school. And so these are exceptional essays. But our first winner from Ashland in the 8th grade is Nina Anoop. To dance. She loves dance class and dancing, and it's one of her favorite things to do outside of reading books. In the future, she'd like to go into the medical field and become a doctor. Congratulations, Anoop. Our next winner from Ashland is Chloe Berry. Chloe's favorite subject is English. Outside of school, she likes to read and spend time with her friends. When she is older, she'd like to succeed as a patent attorney. Congratulations. I didn't know what a patent attorney was when I was in the 7th grade. I barely know now, but great. So thank you. Our next winner from Ashland is Grace Jakes. Grace's favorite subject in school are math and civics history. And our last 8th grade winner from Ashland is Sophia Wanetsky. Congratulations, Sophia. Sophia's favorite subject is math. Our 4 8th grade Hopkinton winners. Our first winner is Sophia Castonge. She would like to work in the science field in the future, specifically neurology. Congratulations. Our next winner is Hasika Chauhan. Hasika Chauhan. Her favorite subject in school is math and violin. She likes to run, play piano, and draw when she's not in school. Our next winner is Rudra Pachori. Outside of school, he enjoys painting and playing tennis. And for his profession, he would like to become a neurosurgeon or a cardiac surgeon. And our last winner, alphabetically, or from 8th grade in Hopkinton, is Arsha Tharakabushama. Outside of school, she plays professional table tennis and sings. And for her profession, she would like that to be in a creative field. Right now, she likes architecture. Congratulations, Arsha. So those are our students, and we all should be very proud of them and the work they've done. And may we have a round of applause for all of our students together.
Rick and his father, Dick Hoyt, told their story at Elmwood School. The father and son are well known for competing in the Boston Marathon, in addition to other marathons, triathlons, and athletic competitions. At birth, Rick Hoyt was born a spastic quadriplegic with cerebral palsy. But that has not stopped the father and son from competing in over 1,000 athletic events, and they are a prime example showing that anything is possible. This year, they brought their message to Elmwood School of yes, you can.
Team Hoyt is a father and son team, and I'm the dad, and Rick, my son, when he was born, the doctor said forget him, put him away, put him in an institution, he's going to be nothing but a vegetable for the rest of his life. Well, today, Rick is 53 years old, he's graduated from public high school, graduated from Boston University, lives all by himself in his own apartment, and Rick and I have competed in over 1,100 athletic events in the past 35 years. You know, and we're still trying to figure out what kind of vegetable Rick is.
Are you guys going to be competing in any more events coming up?
Yes, we are. Last year we made an announcement that Rick and I will not be doing any more Ironman triathlons or full marathons. I'm 75 years old and my body's starting to tell me to slow down, but Rick and I will be doing Olympic-sized triathlons and 10-mile races and 5 miles and 10Ks, the shorter distance type of races, and we're hoping to be able to do 20 races this summer.
And can you tell us about the message you look to convey doing these presentations?
Okay, our message is yes, you can. There isn't anything you can't do as long as you make up your mind to do it. And there's no such word as can't in the Hoyt vocabulary.
Applied to do the World's Championship Ironman Triathlon out in Kona, Hawaii. They also turned us down. They said, Dick, you're a good athlete. You can compete, but your disabled son has to sit in the sidelines and watch you. And I said, no, we don't do things that way. So we were able to negotiate with them. And Rick is the first disabled person in the world, and still is, to ever compete and complete the Ironman triathlon. And because of his efforts, they now have a physically challenged division out there.
Now, you guys participated in the Boston Marathon last year. Could you tell us how that went?
Well, it was just unbelievable because it was the last marathon that Rick and I will be doing together. Rick will still be competing in the Boston Marathons, but he's got somebody else that will be pushing him, and he's a real heck of a guy. He's a local dentist from Billerica, Mass, and he's competed in 2 Ironmans and 14 marathons. And he's just a great human being, and so we're really looking forward, because Rick says if it comes down to one race a year, he wants it to be the Boston Marathon. And Hopkinton is our favorite place. It's just like we've been adopted by the people in Hopkinton. As you can see at the starting line is that bronze statue that was unveiled in the year 2013. It's just unbelievable, and we really love being here today with the schools.
Now, Team Hoyt, it's grown throughout the years. A lot more people are participating with Team Hoyt, and it just seems to be spreading like wildfire, especially throughout the Boston Marathon. Can you just talk about the growth of Team Hoyt?
Yeah, it's unbelievable, because when Rick was born, they didn't want us going into restaurants. People would get up and leave. They didn't want him going to school. They didn't want us competing in the Boston Marathon or road races. And now we're wanted all over the world. It's just amazing how big our story is spreading. And all these other countries emailing us and all that. Matter of fact, Father's Day is coming up. We're going to be down New Bedford. Rick's going to be running a half marathon with Brian. And we're going to go live over to Italy, because it's Father's Day over there, and do an interview with them. And then it's just amazing. We've been to Canada, we've been to Japan, we've been to China, we've been to Germany, we've been to El Salvador. We've just been all over the place. And now we've started Team Hoyt Virginia Beach, Team Hoyt San Diego, Team Hoyt New England, Team Hoyt Canada, and actually they want us to go over to Japan and start a Team Hoyt over in Japan. It's just amazing what's happening and what's going on.
Well, I'm sure Team Hoyt will continue to grow. Thanks so much.
Well, thank you. It will continue to grow, and I think it's going to get bigger and bigger. And I think one of these days you're going to see a Team Hoyt in almost every state.
Dick and Rick Hoyt in the town of Hopkinton had a real and heartfelt connection that started years and years ago, and it's persisted right to this very moment. And to have the sculpture in front of Center School, which honors Team Hoyt, is going to be even more memorable now with the passing of Dick. To me, besides the athletic accomplishments of Dick Hoyt, the most powerful example that they set forth is the strong and bonding relationship between a father and son. That's really what unconditional love is all about. The 26.2 Foundation's vision for an international marathon center is in motion. The IMC will be located in Hopkinton, Massachusetts, on a 19-acre parcel of land adjacent to the historic Boston Marathon course, between the starting line and the 1-mile marker, which is celebrated by a 12-foot statue honoring Greek marathon champions Stelianos Kyriakidis and Spiridon Louis. The center will provide a wide range of state-of-the-art resources, including a museum, a hall of fame, auditorium, conference, event and hospitality facilities, exhibition halls, walking trails, a trails hub, and education and research space. Education programs will be paramount, and the IMC will be available for use by business, schools, and private and community groups. We're excited to share a preview of the visitor experience. Your journey begins in the Human Spirit Theater. From there, you'll move into the Battle of Marathon and the story of festivities, and into the Olympics ancient and modern, with a compelling interactive presentation. The next gallery features the Boston Marathon, where its rich history is brought to life through video, artifacts, and interactive displays. The main marathon gallery offers interactive media and exhibits that tell the stories of marathons around the globe. One of the most dynamic displays will be the interactive running track, hitting the pavement. Every visitor will be invited to time themselves against a world-class athlete. Each marathon has its own special spirit, and in this gallery, you'll encounter the reach and breadth of the sport and how it has become personalized throughout the globe. The Marathon Culture Gallery presents a full picture of the marathon, not just the athletes, but also the volunteers, spectators, and all the other elements that make up a long-distance race. Plans are developing for a unique virtual reality experience that will allow visitors to be part of a particular marathon of their choosing, anywhere in the world. In the Health and Well-Being Gallery, you'll learn about the importance of nutrition, various elements of training, important aspects of diets, and specific regimens. Our goal is to highlight this extensive body of research on endurance sports. The Science and Technology Gallery will display the innovations and development in running gear, shoes, apparel, electronics, and more. In addition, visitors will also learn about the evolution of equipment for wheelchair, para-athletes, hand cyclists, and duo racers. Finally, the Hall of Excellence highlights the power of the human spirit, linking your experience back to the center's overall theme. A large interactive media display in the center of the room will allow you to discover and research individuals and learn about their inspirational stories. This display will allow you to click the story, and the details about the individual, including video, will come up on the wall. We hope you enjoyed this preview of the visitor experience. In closing, the International Marathon Center will be a world-class destination that proves that there's much more to a marathon than running 26.2 miles.
The 26.2 Foundation hosted a recognition ceremony to honor and celebrate the town of Ashland, who has played a pivotal role in the tremendous success of the Boston Marathon.
So we call on the chair of the Ashland Select Board, Brandy Kinsman. Come on up, Brandy, to accept the award.
Okay, rip it open. Okay. It's like my birthday. Sorry, got it. This is beautiful. It all started here.
Yolanda Greaves from WACA TV in Ashland was on the scene to cover the event and talked with 26.2 Foundation President Tim Kilduff.
Hello, welcome to Around the Clock. I am here with Tim Kilduff. Tim, thanks for having us here at Hopkinton Center for the Arts.
No, the pleasure was all ours. You know, the people in Hopkinton are really thrilled to be able to celebrate Ashland's historic connection to the Boston Marathon.
So we're here to celebrate the fact that 100 years ago was the last running in Ashland, and I know some people were like, do you really want to celebrate that? But why did you want to celebrate that?
Well, you know, the race would still be there if it weren't for the Queen of England.
That's true.
Years ago, and they stretched the length of the course.
Right.
That's the only reason it's not in Ashland. But
Right.
more importantly, you can feel sort of the marathon spirit when you go by the Marathon Park in Ashland.
Yep.
You know, it's ingrained. Working with the Mendez kids
Yep.
who do their own little mini marathon, there's a real spirit here. So that's what we want to. That's really what we want to celebrate.
And it's really a celebration, and even still in Ashland, I mean, I'm a transplant, I'm not an original person from Ashland, but I remember bringing my kids to the marathon, and as Brandy, our select board, said, it's such a thrill. Why do you still keep doing what you do for the 26.2 Foundation?
Well, thanks for the question. I think in part because I understand the connection between marathoning and ancient Greece.
Okay.
And the connection goes back to 490 BC and the Battle of Marathon.
Right.
When there was a fight, really, to save democracy, our form of government. So that's the emotional connection, I think, that gets me. The Athenians beat back an attempt to, if they hadn't done what they did and what they accomplished, the argument is democracy would have been put off for hundreds of years and maybe not at all.
Right. So we are fortunate for that, and we are still fighting for our democracy to this day. We won't get into that. We're here celebrating.
No, but that's a valuable point. So everybody who runs a marathon, I believe, everyone who runs a marathon has to make a personal decision, a personal commitment, and it's really a statement about personal freedom, isn't it?
It is.
It really does take a lot. If we can transfer that spirit to local government, state government, and possibly even the federal government, maybe that would be a good thing.
Yeah. Good words to live by, Tim. Thank you for taking a few minutes to speak with us. We really appreciate it. Ashland was honored by so many things tonight, and thanks to you and your foundation for bringing this about.
No, you're very welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
You can't get to Boston without going through Ashland. This is Ashland's night. Thank you so much. We know the pride that you take in having a big part of it. 23 runners from Ashland will be running this year, 50 volunteers. 22 will be running in the 5K, and 8 have been invited to participate in our youth invitational races. A big part of this year's race, but always a big part of the Boston Marathon. I was in Framingham earlier today at a gathering of public safety officials. We were having our final planning meeting and came back, stopped off on Pleasant Street at Metcalf's Mill. Got out, walked around Marathon Park, saw some of the photos. You could really feel, you can really feel the spirit there. The heritage there, the Sudbury River, railroad tracks, the trees, you can feel the history, it's beautiful. Thank you, Ashland, for keeping that important location alive, remembered, preserved, and maintained for all of our runners and for future runners and for those who just want to visit. You can really feel the inspiration blowing in the wind there. It really doesn't get any more authentic than that. And so, to commemorate Ashland's forever role in being home and host to the start of the marathon from 1897 to 1923, and always a warm part of this family of towns and cities which comprise the Boston Marathon course for the entire 127 years, we have a small gift, and it is an iconic sign that we put up on race day, but if maybe there's an appropriate place within the town or the town hall that where it might be fitting. So, Ms. Kinsman, if you would come to receive it from our board chair, Dr. Michael O'Leary. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ashland. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That's a beautiful gift. So on behalf of our town, thank you very much.
Thank you. You can view the full ceremony at our website, hcam.tv.
And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful
I want to understand a little more about you. Like, I want to understand what was your personal spark? What inspired you to start? Were you always a runner? Like,
Yeah, that's a good question. Yes, I was always active in sports. In school and in college, I played cricket, I played badminton, I did the swimming games, and also was involved in football at some level. But cricket was the main thing. You know, I come from Pakistan, and Pakistanis, like, they probably can skip meals. They can probably be sleepless or maybe something more, but they cannot skip cricket.
Okay.
And they're crazy and they are just mad about it. So the biggest sport in our country is cricket. And that's why a lot of other sports in which a lot of people did achieve a lot. Jahangir Khan, who still holds the biggest record of squash, he won more than 500 matches non-stop in a row without a break. And that record has not been broken anywhere in the world, not in the US, not in the Europe, not in India. But that thing is still not so much big for our people, because cricket is something which is a bond which keeps people connected. And obviously it's there in India, it's there in Bangladesh, it's in the whole South Asia.
It's in the genes.
It's in the genes. I mean, we have so many amazing Pakistani cricketers, but every one of them is crazy about Virat Kohli, the Indian cricketer, Indian batsman. We are mad about him. We are inspired. We just follow him. We're crazy about him. So that's the power of the cricket. So in that, when anyone else gets involved in another sport, which is any Olympic sport, you don't get that much kind of feedback because people are not trained or brought up in that way. So running is also like, some people will take a lot of time to understand that. So I come from a society in which when you tell people that you're running, so they will start like, why are you running? Oh, so who are you running from? Who are you running after? Where are you gonna get? Like, how many thousands of miles you're gonna run? Eventually you have to get back home. And this is something, sometimes is joke, but sometimes it's the real culture. That's how people treat it, and they don't take it seriously. So I can carefully say, like, if I have, for example, let's say 100 friends back in Pakistan, 75 of them would not know 3 years ago that what does a marathon mean, or what does a 42.20 kilometer distance mean. They would support you, they would really be excited for you, but like 42 kilometers? One of my friends on the Facebook 3 years ago, when I ran first marathon, he said, like, how is this even possible? This is not possible. This must be fake.
It's a lot.
And I said, like, come with me and, you know, we'll get you run. And then they count the distance, like, okay.
Has an hour of classic cartoons, from Betty Boop to Superman to Popeye to Bugs Bunny and more. You'll see your old favorites and discover new ones. So tune in to Toon Time, Saturdays at 8, and start your weekend off with a laugh.